questions. I love these responses. Am I a fan of optics on handguns? Yes and no. Yes and no. I'm a fan of it if you've got poor eyesight. But if you don't have poor eyesight, I'm not a fan of it because in a realistic haphazard situation, you are not looking for your sights. You damn sure are not looking for an optic. FBI studies shootings and studies these things. There's the rule of three: 3 yards, 3 rounds, 3 seconds. Most up and close self defense shootings, 3 yards, 3 rounds, 3 seconds. So if you got 3 seconds, when do you have time to apply a good sight picture of that optic? You don't. That's all I'm saying. You don't. You don't. If you're not going to see the iron sights that were manufactured onto the slide, what makes you think you're going to chase a dot? You're not. You're not. All you really have are the 3 P's. Pull, point, press. That's it. Pull, point, press. That's it. Pull, point, press. That's it. That's all you got. That's all you got. You have to have time, distance, maybe cover, maybe concealment, but time and distance to be able to acquire that good sight picture. And please don't speak to me about IDPA or USPCSA, whatever the hell it is, United States Practical Shooting Association. You mean that course of fire where you actually get to look at your different stages that you're about to do and plan how you're going to negotiate them? You mean to tell me the stages of priming, where I get to be primed on the evolution I'm about to endeavor before I get into it, where get ready, stand by, and then you got the time to be able to hit the alphas? You mean to tell me that? That's not real. None of those things are shooting back at you. You don't have people on the sideline screaming. You don't have your wife or your husband or whatever you align yourself with screaming and trying to get on your back, and your kids are scared and cars are in the area and things. You don't have all those other realistic elements. So you got all that. And e pluribus unum, out of many things, you're going to find the one dot to be able to put that one hole in the app. It's not real. It's not real. It's cosplay. It's competition. And that is exactly what it is. It's cosplay. So am I a fan of optics? No. Yes, if you got poor eyesight. But no, under the influence of stress. I am only a fan of pull, point, press, gaze, action coupling. My eyes are looking at where I want to hit, and I'm bringing my firearm to that and press. That's it. All the other stuff, cosplay. And guess who you could screw Instructor Mike? Guess who you could talk to actually find out if what I'm saying is actually correct? You know those criminals you don't like? You know those felons you don't like? You know those pesky little criminals who own guns and rob banks and do the murders and all the other stuff? Yeah, you can actually talk to them. See, as a correctional officer, I loved talking to them. Why? Because we have something in common. We like firearms and other things that have, there's some commonality there. And they'll tell, oh, yeah, you ain't got time for that. You ain't got time for that. You ain't got time to find those sites. Not when this fool was and you got to immediately respond, boy, you ain't got time for that. Find a red dot. Here we go. Red dots are a game changer. This dude doesn't have a clue. Oh, let me guess, Chris. Let me look at your bio. I guarantee you. Oh, he's a tiger lover. Oh, but I know that's something else. Here we go. This is like you're talking about a conflict area. Is the U.S. a war zone? You got to look, go save the planet. I'm going to get you off my live so you can go save the planet. I kind of don't want you off. I don't want you off my live. I'm not going to want you off my live. Joku, we need people like you because you get us to think differently. So I'm not going to take you off my live. I had to think about that really quickly. I'm not going to take you off my live. And I apologize for saying that. I'm going to hold myself accountable because we need peaceful people like you to say the things that you're saying. But if you don't understand the context of why we are the way we are because of where we are, then I get it. So I'm not going to, that's not right of me. I apologize. I apologize for that. Now let me get on Chris because I'm definitely coming down your lane. Red dots are a game changer. This dude doesn't have a clue. You mean to tell me that red dots are a game changer for you special operators who assault, for you SWAT guys who assault? If you have the intelligence and you have the priming and you have the surprise and the speed and the violence of action and the advantage, for you, red dots are a game changer because you get to quickly acquire your threat that you are assaulting. You are starting the offense. For defensive shooters, you don't have time for a red dot, especially if your situational awareness is not where it should be. If you are alone and outnumbered, you don't have time for a red dot. You don't, whatever. Yes, that duress for regular folks hits different. That's what I'm saying, Chris. And see, the thing is, when you look at fresh from high school, right into the military, maybe you got target shooting experience, competition experience, and then you get into the military, then you get into Navy SEALs, Army Special Forces, Rangers, MARSOC, or even you go right into law enforcement and you get on SWAT. All of those professions are primed. I'm a force science analyst. Look it up, Force Science Institute. I'm a certified force science analyst. So I know the science of biomechanics and what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? It's primed. You're given intel. Yes, you're given intel. So you kind of got a picture. Even though no plan survives first contact, you still have a plan. In civilian life, I don't care how much training you do, you will never have that op tempo of the United States military. There's a saying, the military trains and trains and trains for wars they may never fight. Police fight wars every day and rarely train. So if police fight wars and rarely train, civilians probably train just a little bit less than the police. And I know it because I see it every day. Firearms instruction is what I do professionally. This isn't a side job for me. I do this professionally every day. Every day. So I'm saying qualitative, naturalistic, observational research. Qualitative, naturalistic, observational research. Research based upon the patterns of what I see every day. You're not going to have time for a red dot. So getting it for a self-defense shooting, you are not going to have time to see it. I'm going to say one word, which is actually two. And then I'm going to give you a technique. Base plate. Backplate. Actually, that's what I meant. Backplate. Backplate. If you want something to focus on, backplate. Backplate. What do I mean? This is assert, and I can show it like this, so I don't show the full thing, so TikTok, don't do it. This is all, and I don't want to point at myself. This is all you're really looking at right here. We can go ahead and take this off. I just took the rear sight off. I like these certs. We can take this off. Here we go. I don't agree with this one, Mike. Teaching a new shooter sight alignment versus a red dot is way easier. Boy, you ain't got time for all that. I don't care about you agreeing or disagreeing. Respectfully, I still like you. I still like you, right? But I don't care about agreement. How many times have you been to the morgue? How many times have you been to the hospital during the aftermath of what happens? How many spec operators you know actually go to the morgue and see where the bullets actually landed? Or do they just take the non-motion or the non-movement as job done? Spare me. My experience is my experience. The backplate is what you're looking at. And don't get me wrong, if you're talking about marksmanship, I don't care about you being a first responder. What does that mean? Jonathan, let me tell you something. You walked into the you walked into the right room. Because I'm going to tell you about being a first responder. Longevity on the job don't mean shit if I don't get to analyze what you've actually done on the job. Tell me how long you've been on the job and show me the actual results of what you've done on the job. And then I'll sit there and humbly submit because I am a lifelong learner. But don't tell me how many years you've been on the job. And don't tell me how many years you've been on the streets. You could have been on the streets just riding around in your squad car, just responding to call. Tell me about the crime rate where you were. But thank you for serving. Yes. Thank you, Angie. Thank you for serving. Yes. Tell me about the crime rate where you were. Because I'll talk to you about white flight. I'll talk to you about those of you who love the Second Amendment, who live in actual great communities. You don't have the crime problem that y'all love invoking the name of Chicago because you don't have enough action where you live. You love invoking the name of O Block because you don't have a block on your own where you live, and that's a great thing. But you shouldn't dare speak on what you aren't afraid of because you don't have that where you live. You capping whole time. Tell me how many years you've been on the job. I've been on the job for 14 years as a police officer. Boy, you ain't been tested. Fuck you talking about. Whole time y'all get tested. That's why y'all end up in court and shit like that. That's why y'all be so quick to shoot people, because you really don't have the experience of how to deal with these circumstances without relying on the gun. You done walked into the wrong room and speaking to the right person. I call cap on your experience. Miss me on that. So here we go. If you're talking marksmanship through your rear sight, at your front sight, if you have time, distance, cover, concealment. But if you talking about the rule of 3 yards, 3 rounds, 3 seconds, you ain't got time to look through your rear sight at your front sight. It takes time to acquire a good sight picture. Under the influence of stress and a haphazard situation, you ain't got time. So your quick thing to do is to stare at the back plate and put box on box. What do I mean? Box right there in the middle. Just box on box. That's it. Box on box. You're putting a smaller, I'm going to give you another example because I don't want to get banned by TikTok, but I'm going to give you a bigger example. You're simply putting box on box. That's it. Box on box. That's it. The box of that back plate on the box of that torso. That's it. The box on the back plate on the center of this box. That's it. That's it. And anybody who says different has never been in a haphazard shooting situation where they had no time, they had no distance, they had no cover, they had no concealment. That's it. That's what you're doing. Box on box. Why? Threat could jump, threat could duck, threat could lateral from side to side. You want to increase the chances of hitting the biggest box of the 6 areas on that body, and that's the torso. That's it. And if you think the rounds of the body that's going into the morgue are going to be all in this yellow, you are fooling yourself. You are fooling yourself. It's going to be all over. And if it works, it works. Box. What does this box right here represent? The back plate. That's all I did was just exchange this for this. And this represents the torso. Box on box. That's it. Back plate, torso. Back plate, torso. Back plate, torso. Box on box. That's it. Threat jumps, ducks, lateral side to side. You want to increase the chances of landing rounds in this torso. Here we go. Okay, if you can't acquire a good sight picture, you don't need to be using a firearm in an emergency. Somebody who's never used a firearm in a stressful situation. I'm not arguing or disrespecting you, sir. I simply said red dot is faster than 3 dots. But see, and that's what I'm talking about. You walked into the room and didn't even pay attention to what I was saying. I didn't say anything about 3 dots, except you're not going to have time to find them. I'm not suggesting red dots or 3 dots. So what are you talking about? I'm not suggesting red dots or 3 dots. What I'm saying is, in a haphazard situation, since you're a first responder, since you live in a high crime area, as a first responder, I can almost guarantee you, you've probably never been a detective. So you probably haven't been a part of those after your preliminary investigation type investigations, right? Where you actually get to look at the video and actually get to see real people actually responding. And then what do you learn as a detective? Shit, this person didn't have enough time. This person didn't have enough time to be able to respond. And I'm coming down your way, Alex. Here we go. Coming from 2 deployments, combat, as well as being in a shooting as a cop, I disagree. Sight picture. Oh, let me tell you. Let me guess, Alex. I love this. I love this. Let me guess, Alex. You mean your combat deployments where you were not by yourself? Come on, boy. Let's have that conversation. No, don't back out of it, pimp. Don't back out of it, pimp. Oh, here we go. You were in the military. Did you deploy by yourself or did you deploy with a team? As a cop, were you by yourself or were you with a team? You had backup in the military. You had backup as a police officer. You ain't got no backup out here as a civilian. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You have no backup as a civilian. Before you deployed, you got an op order, right? Before you deployed, you had briefings. Before you deployed, you actually had information, an idea of who your likely threats would be. As a police officer, you had priming. What kind of priming am I talking about? You've got training. You've got information. You run plates. You get suspect profiles of things in terms of what a potential suspect would look like and other things that show you little small details. You got that as a cop and as an MP. You don't get that as a civilian, especially if the training is offered, but you don't take it into consideration because you're not forced to. That's who I'm training, not you. Not you. Military, you get priming. Law enforcement, you get priming. Civilians don't get that. And in the military, you train and train and train for wars you may never fight. Police fight wars every day and rarely train. That's who I'm talking to. So you want to sit here and talk about I disagree when you don't train like I do. You don't train people like I do. So what are you talking about? You got police who, when stress tested, can't even clear malfunctions. You got police who, when stress tested, all they got is the gun. They forget about other tactics. In-service training is horrible. Come on, bro. Who we talking to here? I got knowledge, skills, abilities, competence, and confidence and balls enough to be able to say this shit. So who we talking to here? Who we talking to here? That's all I'm saying. And anytime we want to appeal to the authority, I'll shit on your authority with all the examples of how the fuck it's not working. I'll give you your Kim Potters. I'll give you your thank you. Come on, that's what I want. I want the real ones to come through. In-service training is straight garbage. It's a head bobbing situation. You mean that training where your buddy is going to train you about the shit that they need to know you know how to do? Matter of fact, I just put a video out on TikTok. Here we go. Where that video at? Here this lady is. She commands staff. She's command staff. What do you see in front? You could probably barely see it. You see a cell phone in front where those magazines should be. Her magazines right here are behind near that fat ass. You see where them magazines are at? Near that fat ass. Boy, she ain't even taking that shit seriously. So if the command staff takes it as a joke, come on, boy. Don't do me. Don't fucking do me. Don't fucking do me. I'm smarter than you fucking think. That's all the fuck I'm saying. All I want people is just do this thing called pause for a minute and just actually let that shit sizzle. Just let it sizzle for a little minute. Just let it sizzle for a little minute of how inadequately prepared you might be in a stressful situation. And I'm not telling y'all civilians to go out there and get more training. I've been saying that shit till I'm blue in the face. The fact is you ain't gonna fucking do it. So since you're not gonna do it, all I'm gonna tell your ass to do is put box on box. That's it. You ain't got time to find no 3 dots. If you could put box, which is the back plate of the firearm, on box, which is the torso, and just shh. What does shh mean? It's an acronym. Shoot until something happens. What's the something happening? If it's running, it stops. If it's standing, it's falling. If it's ducking, let it keep ducking. And sometimes it's, I see you, nameless. I got you. Give me 1 minute. That's all it is box on box. Box, back plate, box, torso. And then shoot until something happened. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Shoot until something happened. If you can at least do that, you'll stand a better chance of trying to survive that circumstance under different contexts, provided you're not outnumbered, provided this is something worth defending. That's all I'm saying. 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 I'm talking about in a situation where you are not primed. You are not primed. You don't have any intel. 435. Respond to 2300 Jackson Street, Michael Jackson's address. That's all I'm saying, right? I ain't saying it happened. I'm just using it in my example. Respond to 2300 Jackson Street in reference to a domestic. Caller says that the man has a gun and has threatened his life. What did you just learn? You're going to a particular area, right? Maybe it's a house you're familiar with, and that the caller, potentially a woman, could be a family member, who knows, is saying that a man has a gun. So now you know of these 3 things, and you, 435, 437, Sam 9, Tam 8, Tango 5. Now you got a whole bunch of people. Now you got a whole bunch of people responding to this place. So you're not going by yourself. You're not going by yourself. What backup you got as a civilian? I gotta call Tim. Tim! Da-da-da. We're sorry, you're called in. Wrong number, bitch! Oh! Tim! Who the fuck you calling? Oh, and by the way, you got the itty bitty titty committee gun. It's in your titty. But then it's winter outside. So then not only do you have your best bra, you got 7,000 fucking coats on. So you got to go through all that shit just to get it. Who the fuck you got? Nobody. And please don't be an independent person. I won't use a gender with this. You definitely don't have nobody because you didn't learn the concept of establishing good relationships with people who will come to your defense. So now you're really by yourself. Go ahead and talk your shit like you know. Come on. And I'll tell you about all the priming that law enforcement gets and still don't be paying attention to the shit. What's up, retired Leo Lawrence? And still don't be paying attention to the shit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So when you tell me about, oh, is it a red dot over the iron sights? As a civilian, you ain't gonna see either of them things. So I'm giving you a quick option of something to look for. Just all you gotta do is there's this thing called gaze action coupling. Gaze action coupling. Just look it up. I mean, I'm a force science analyst, but what does that mean? What does that mean? Gaze action coupling. Gaze as in G-A-Z-E, not G-A-Y-S. G-A-Z-E. Gaze action coupling. Do you know that by you looking where you want to shoot, you're already aiming? Now all you got to do while you're looking is look at this box. What does this box represent? The torso. Now, if you can bring the backplate of that firearm up to the center of that box and then just shoot until something happens, or better yet, smash. Shoot and move around until something happens. You might have a better chance of surviving as a civilian because you weren't primed, you don't have context. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Look here, bring it here, pop, pop, pop. And better yet, let's not even do this. Let's not even do this because let's talk facts. This is a necessity. This is a luxury. This is a necessity. Do me a favor, tap the screen, get the likes up. This is a necessity. This is a luxury. Why? Here we go. Military versus police. Military. What are you doing? You're airborne in C-130 rolling down the strip. SEAL Team Frog, you're going to take a little trip. Mission top secret, destination unknown. I don't know if I'm going home. And it stand up, hook up, shuffle to the door. Jump right out and count to 4. And if my main don't open wide, I got a reserve by my side of saying, hoo-yah, hey, running day. Got it. We got all that stuff, okay? We got all that stuff. You know you're jumping out. You know you're about to land. Guess what? Bam, land, all that great stuff. Here we go. I got points of contact. Points of contact. Points of contact. Right? Here we go. So now you're not infilling by yourself. They didn't say, we got Osama bin Laden. SEAL Team 6 is out of the country. We're going to send you, Tim. You're not going by yourself. You're going with the team. And you're going with the plan. And you probably infilled that little compound, right? What? Come on now. SEAL Team 6, when they were going to take care of business, what did they do? They got intel. They built a compound that looks like it. They practice it over and 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 over again. Over and over again. You see what I'm saying? You did it over and over again. Got it. Police. Over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. Practice it. You, Tim Sklerowitz, Anita Baker. Maybe they met. I don't know, whatever, right? Here we go. They ain't practiced nothing. They just took one class, maybe. And now they're carrying. That's all I'm saying. Now they're carrying. And what I'm saying is, they're not going to be prepared. That's what I'm saying. You said, could you talk about how important physical fitness is with carrying a firearm? Yes, it is important. So I just started my weight, not just started, but I started my weight loss journey, right? I used to be 260. Now I'm 223. My goal is 185. I am not going to be a fat ass no more. I wasn't one when I was in the military. I'm not going to be one. And I've been poorly undisciplined with my eating habits because I did not know about the science. Poorly undisciplined with my physical fitness because I didn't know about the science and didn't know how to work out smartly. I'm 5'8". I should not be 200 anything. And if I can make that admission, I know you can too. It's about starting with what you eat. So yes, you are 1,000% correct, but let's talk facts. I don't expect everybody who carries a firearm to go on ahead and get in shape. In fact, that's one of the reasons why the firearm is so important, because who the fuck said you had to be in shape for you to use a doggone firearm? Certain things you need to have, cardiovascular endurance and certain things like that. But that's why the firearm exists, so you can have a force multiplier. And it's kind of an equalizer. I'm not going to expect the 80-year-old lady to sit here and rappel from a doggone wall. I'm not going to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. So I get it, but no. What I'm saying is this. Box on box, shoot until something happens. Or smash, shoot and move around until something happens. The reason why you got to have two is because some people may not be ambulatory. They may not be able to move around. They have to shoot where they are. They're down on the ground. They're knocked down. That's all I'm saying. They're not going to be able to do it.